not peace but division. Is Jesus supposed to unify instead of divide? Set the earth on fire. Isn't that arson? My dear brothers and sisters, what does the Lord want to tell us today in the gospel? The gospel reading for today is definitely not about family feud. It is not about family war. It is not about family misunderstanding or animosity or lack of harmony. The gospel is about a battle. It is a call to battle, but the battle is not against other people. It is a different kind of battle. It is a different kind of warfare. It is a call to battle against sin, a call to battle against corruption, against evil, against Beelzebul. Let us again listen to the words of Jesus in the gospel. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, but division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided. 3 against 2, 2 against 3, they will be divided. Father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, and so on and so forth. And you will realize that every possible combination is mentioned. But again, the battle or the war to which the Lord calls us is not a war against people of any nationality. It is not a war between cultures. It is not a war among regions or among creeds or ideologies, but it is a war in which we first have to identify the forces of evil in our own persons and even in those who are dear and close to us, like father or mother, son or daughter, and in-laws, and then declare an uncompromising war against those evil forces. Moreover, our hearts are divided. There is dichotomy in the heart of man. Why do I say that there is dichotomy in the heart of man? Because we say one thing and yet we do another. We profess the creed, but we do not put it into practice. I remember an old rap that was made popular many years ago when I was much younger, but I cannot forget some of the parts of the lyrics of the rap that I was able to memorize. It says, "Gusto kong bumait, pero di ko magawa. Nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa." Gusto kong bumait, pero di ko magawa. Nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa. My dear friends, the forces of good and evil coexist in the heart of man. There is good and bad in each one of us. Call it the beauty and the beast, or the yin and the yang. And St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, he speaks about the perpetual enmity between good and evil. St. Paul says, and I quote, "I do not understand what I do, because what I want to do, I do not do, and what I am supposed to do, that is what I do." What is the meaning of this statement of St. Paul? There is a divided self, a dichotomized self. This is something that is happening in the heart of all of us. So the presence of Christ, our seeming closeness to God and the church, does not mean the absence of conflict or tension and division. Even if we feel we are close enough to the Lord, There will be conflicts in our hearts. There will be struggles. There will be temptations. There will be trials. There will be tears. And the war is perpetual. The battle is forever. We are not destined for easy struggles and for easy challenges. My dear friends, I'm sure you are familiar with what Catholic theology teaches about the three sections of the church. This is basic catechism. What does Catholic theology say about the three sections or compartments of the church? Number one is what we call the church militant. The second is the church penitent. And the third is the church triumphant. Let me say something about each of them very briefly. The church militant, ecclesia militans, it refers to us. We are still alive. We are still struggling as soldiers of Christ. We are struggling against sin, against the devil, against the spirit of wickedness, against the forces of darkness. While we are on earth, we are the members of the church militant. The second, the church penitent, ecclesia penitens, also called the church suffering or ecclesia dolens, or the church expectant or ecclesia expectans, that consists of those Christians still in purgatory. And the final one is what we call the church triumphant, ecclesia triumphans, that consist of those who have already seen the beatific vision because they are already in heaven. And so while we are still on earth, the battle continues. And what are some of the evil forces that we are asked to go against in our battle in this life? I'll give you a very quick enumeration of what we call the 7 deadly sins or the 7 capital sins. Very quickly. Number 1 is pride. Pride. The feeling of superiority complex. A sense of entitlement. A sense of privilege. Very common among people. The next one is covetousness. It's synonymous with greed. Seeking material prosperity at the expense of one's soul when man is never satisfied. Number 3 is lust. Sexual abuse of minors. Pornography. Treating women as sexual objects of pleasure and leisure. The internet. Number 4 is anger. Synonymous with bitterness or hatred, bearing grudges against each other. The next is gluttony, eating excessively and drinking excessively. The next is envy, rivalry, and finally is sloth or laziness, seeking success without working for it. My dear friends, our consolation is that the forces of good will triumph over the forces of evil. The forces of God will emerge victorious against the forces of the devil. And finally, again, a little quotation from the letter to the Hebrews. It says, I quote, "In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood." In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. Amen. All stand, please. Trials